my husband isn't perfect, and your husband isn't perfect, and I'm not perfect, and you're not perfect. Well, recently we had one of those days where my husband did an imperfect thing, because he's human and he's going to make some mistakes from time to time, just like I am. Well, in this moment, he said something about someone I love that wounded me. And my first reaction was just to get all huffy and storm off and give him the silent treatment and give him the cold shoulder. But I've realized that that's a dysfunctional way of dealing with things. And so then I thought, well, I'll default to my new, healthier option, which is to confront the issue. And so I was ready to do that. And after all, that's biblical. In Matthew 18, verses 15 through 17, Jesus instructs you that if someone has sinned against you, go and confront them. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do the new, healthier thing. I'm just going to confront him and tell him how this makes me feel. And yet I felt like the Holy Spirit was saying, whoa, maybe I would like to convict your husband on this one. And it reminded me that that is one of the Holy Spirit's jobs in the life of a believer, is to convict of sin. In fact, in John 16, Jesus says to his disciples as he's about ready to go to the cross, he says, when I leave, I'll send the Holy Spirit. And then he says, one of his jobs, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but one of the jobs of the Holy Spirit, he says, is to convict the world of sin and righteousness and judgment. So this is one of the Holy Spirit's jobs. And in that moment when I felt like God was saying, whoa, just hold off, I realized that maybe God sometimes wants to be the one that does the conviction through his Holy Spirit, but am I leaving him room to do that? So here's what I want you to take away from this, and I'm preaching to myself too. In those moments when you want to react, whether it's the cold treatment or lashing out at your husband or whatever that reaction might be, how about if we both pause, and in that moment we consult God and say, is this a time where you want me to confront respectfully and lovingly? Or do you want me to just back off because you want to convict through your Holy Spirit? You're going to do the work, Lord. If we don't pause, we'll never know the answer to that question. And by the way, the end of the story for me, when I did pause and I didn't blaze in there and correct him and, condemn him and confront him and all that kind of stuff, and I just left it in God's hands, within a couple of hours, my husband came back to me and apologized. I guess it was worth pausing.